Annotating a text is an important skill that a lot of students lack. In order to encourage students to annotate a text, I would first ask them about what their strategies when reading for school and what they do to help them remember the text. A lot of times when I've asked this to students, they say they don't do anything, they just read what they're assigned straight through and then forget about the text until it pops up in class the next day. And I ask students what they remember from what they read, and they all say all they remember is plot, theme, and is basic plot and characters' names, rather than they remember the who, what, when, and how, but the why is usually missing from when students just read a text. And I tell them that a way to fix this problem is to think critically about the text, but a lot of students don't know strategies for thinking critically about a text when they're on their own. So a way to combat this problem is through the discussion of annotation in the classroom and providing students with strategies to correctly and effectively annotate a text to provide them with the why of a text and the importance of a text. So a way to do this would be to ask students what they think annotation means and to encourage them to find the word note within annotation so that they can figure out the meaning on their own. The meaning of annotation literally lies within the word. Annotation is simply notes in the margin. And this, they don't have to be elaborate notes, they don't have to be thorough notes, it can simply be a smiley face, frowny face, or a highlight color to indicate that passage as important. And this encourages the students to actively think while they read rather than they have to be engaged with the text to annotate a text, because a lot of times students are disconnected while they're reading. Their mind is in a completely different place, so they're not really engaging with the text at all. All they're doing is reading words on a page, and their comprehension skills might not be where they need to be to understand what's going on. So a way to do this would be to encourage students to highlight what they read. So a yellow highlighter could mean words you don't know. A pink highlighter can be passages that relate to broader themes in the text. An orange highlighter can be points in the text that the student identified with, and a blue highlighter can be points in the text that brought concern or questions to the student. So they don't even have to write anything. All they have to do is color code what they're reading, and this will help them the next day remember that point in the text more specifically. And then the plot of the text doesn't have to be discussed in class, but rather the importance of the plot and why things happen the way they happened in the text. So this creates more clarity for the text, and this can be taught to the students that deep reading once inhibits having to read superficially 2 or 3 times to understand what's going on. If they really think critically about a text while they're reading it once, they won't have to read it multiple times to understand the same ideas. Also, this allows students unique perspectives to shine through in class. Rather than having every student know the correct answer to one question, students have to think about the questions being asked to them, and they have to shape their own response rather than having a response shaped for them by the plot of the text. So I think this creates a more unique and individualized classroom because students are able to share their own perspective rather than being told what's right or wrong. And I think this allows students to get to know each other more and allows students to be proud of their ideas and allow their ideas to shine through in class rather than have to regurgitate plot. Thinking critically about a text really engages the student with the piece of literature, which I think is missing in a lot of classrooms. I think a lot of times students are just concerned with what's going on rather than why it's happening in the text, and I think that why is an important question to bring into the classroom and have students discover on their own. And so a way to teach this in a fun way to the students would be through group work, have them annotate a certain piece of text and then have them share their strengths and weaknesses of this annotation with a partner so that students can understand how other people are annotating and how this contrasts with their annotation skills. And then another way would be to chant about annotation, and this is the chant I came up with. So, notes will help you remember from now until December. Underline words you don't know so you can figure out the meaning as you go. Write down key facts and ideas so that you can share them with your peers. Lend your ears to your peers to get a different perspective over the years. This gives students a fun way to remember how to annotate and why to annotate and the importance of annotating a piece of literature.